Have you ever genuinely worried about someone and then realized they have no heartbeat and never will? That emotion was still completely real. Not because you were tricked, but because your brain was never programmed to verify biology before forming a bond. Today, we decode the full mechanism behind that, from how mirror neurons get weaponized to how a real community forms around a character that doesn't exist. This is AI influencer audience psychology, and it will change how you see every creator you follow.
Imagine for a second that you are pacing around your living room. You're deeply worried because your favorite online creator just posted this really raw, tearful video about a massive, life-altering failure.
Yeah, and your chest gets genuinely tight.
Exactly. Your empathy is just fully activated. You're even mentally drafting a supportive comment to help them through it, you know?
Right, trying to find the exact right words to say.
Yeah. But then imagine the jarring realization that the person you are literally crying for is actually a render farm in Nevada.
Oh, it completely breaks your brain.
It really does. Because they don't have a pulse. They don't have a real life to fail at. They quite literally do not exist.
Yeah.
And today, we are looking at exactly how that emotional hijack happens.
Because it is a profound shift in how we, understand empathy.
Oh, for sure.
Traditionally, we sort of expect a biological passport before we allow ourselves to truly care. We just assume that a genuine connection requires a living, breathing human on the other end.
Right, like real flesh and blood.
Exactly. But what we are seeing now is that our neurological wiring is, well, it's far more easily hacked than we ever wanted to believe.
And that is exactly why we are so thrilled to have you here with us for today's deep dive. We are looking at this brilliant 2026 article. It was published by the AI Creator World Team, and it's titled AI Influencer Audience Psychology: Build Deep Loyalty and Emotional Bonds.
It's a fascinating piece of work.
It really is. And our mission for you today, listening at home, is to completely decode the psychological framework behind this whole phenomena.
Because it's not random.
No, not at all. We're breaking down how these artificial influencers engineer deeply resilient emotional bonds with human audiences, and what these meticulously designed digital relationships actually reveal about your own brain.
Yeah, because the reality is this isn't just about what makes an AI account algorithmically popular. That's just surface level stuff.
Right, the algorithm is just the start.
We are exploring the underlying mechanics here. The evolutionary psychology of why our human brains are literally wired to connect with lines of code.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because to understand that deep emotional bond, we have to look at the baseline of how we normally interact online, right?
Right. We need a point of comparison.
And the source draws this really hard distinction between transactional engagement and psychological loyalty.
Yes, that distinction is crucial.
So transactional engagement is, well, it's like walking up to an ATM. You put your card in, you get your cash, you leave. You really don't care about the ATM's feelings.
No, not at all. If it breaks, you just walk to a different one.
Exactly. It's the likes, the quick views, the saves for a 10-second life hack video.
Precisely. It is entirely utility-driven. And the moment that immediate value drops, or the algorithm shifts, or maybe someone else just provides the same utility slightly faster, that engagement completely vanishes.
It's super fragile.
Incredibly fragile. Psychological loyalty, on the other hand, is much more like adopting a stray dog.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Right. It requires time, repetition, and a sense of mutual investment. You keep showing up, you genuinely care about the well-being of the subject, and the relationship survives those periods where you aren't getting immediate utility in return.
But wait, if psychological loyalty is like adopting a dog, you are still adopting a living thing, a real animal. Here we are talking about an algorithm.
Yeah.
So how do we actually cross that bridge?
By understanding a really fascinating and honestly slightly terrifying biological reality.
Okay, brace me.
Human emotional systems are pattern matching machines. They are not biology verifying machines.
Wow. Pattern matching, not biology verifying.
Exactly. We evolved over millions of years in environments where everything that looked human, sounded human, and acted human, well, it was human.
Right, there were no deepfakes on the savannah.
Exactly. Our brains just do not have a built-in defense mechanism to verify biological reality before initiating a parasocial attachment.
That makes so much sense, actually.
Yeah. So if our brain encounters a consistent, recognizable identity like the same character, evolving values, a consistent voice across hundreds of interactions, It just builds a neural familiarity pattern. It initiates an emotional bond automatically.
Wait, I'm stuck on this, though. I understand the primitive reflex, sure. But eventually, I consciously know the AI isn't real.
You do, yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting there holding a piece of glass and metal, fully aware that some algorithm generated this whole persona. Doesn't the conscious brain, like the logical neocortex, just override that primitive empathy reflex?
You would really think so, but it actually doesn't.
Really?
Yeah. The cognitive dissonance is resolved through storytelling. The text points out that psychological authenticity has very little to do with biological reality.
Okay, then what is it about?
Psychological authenticity is all about narrative coherence.
Interesting.
Think about reading a deeply moving novel. You consciously know the characters are just ink on a page, right?
Right. I know they aren't real.
But if the author constructs a coherent, evolving character who faces genuine challenges, your brain prioritizes narrative immersion over factual reality.
Oh, so the story wins.
Every time. An AI character with a consistent perspective and real narrative stakes is perceived by the brain as far more authentic than, say, a biological human creator who just posts disconnected, superficial, highly polished content.
Wow. So the narrative essentially just bypasses the logical firewall entirely.
It walks right past it.
Because the AI is taking you on a journey, your brain buys into the character. Emotional investment always follows narrative investment.
That is the perfect way to put it.
Okay, so if narrative is the engine of authenticity, how does a creator actually inject a fake character into my daily emotional life without me just, rejecting it out of hand?
Well, the creators systematically build this through the mechanics of parasocial relationships, those one-sided emotional bonds, and they rely on 3 core pillars from the text.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first is leveraging the mere exposure effect. This is a very well-documented psychological phenomenon where repeated exposure to literally any stimulus naturally increases our positive affection toward it.
Just seeing it more makes you like it more.
Exactly. And AI influencers have a distinct, massive advantage here.
Because they never sleep.
Right. They do not sleep, they do not burn out, and they definitely do not have bad hair days. They can maintain a flawless, omnipresent daily presence across every platform.
That's almost unfair.
It really is.
Yeah.
Every single post, every daily story update physically alters the neural pathways in the audience's brain, building this deep familiarity.
Right. But I have to assume that just seeing something every day isn't quite enough to make me care deeply. I mean, I see my toaster every day, and I feel absolutely nothing for my toaster.
That's a fair point.
It has to be a mirror effect, right? Something where I actually see myself in them.
That is exactly the second pillar, identity alignment. It isn't just about presence. It's about calibrated presence.
Calibrated how?
The AI is meticulously designed to sit right in the sweet spot between being relatable and being aspirational. It is basically an idealized version of someone like me.
Oh, so it's a data game.
Completely. The creators analyze audience data to ensure the AI uses the exact same vocabulary as the target demographic, makes the same niche cultural references, and faces the exact same daily annoyances.
Like complaining about Monday traffic.
Yes. But, crucially, the AI is always just one step ahead on the journey.
I see.
Yeah, that makes them aspirational enough to want to follow, but relatable enough to actually trust.
Which brings us to the third pillar, and honestly, this is the one that really challenges how we view digital ethics, even though it's purely psychological.
Scripted vulnerability.
Yes, scripted vulnerability. The creators are actually designing failure.
They absolutely
They
are.
schedule monthly challenge posts or like reflection videos where the AI admits it messed up a relationship or posts about feeling profound uncertainty about its career. And here's where it gets really interesting. Isn't this just an elaborate magic trick? I mean, why do I feel protective of a server farm in Nevada that claims it had a bad day?
What's fascinating here is how the source frames this through the biological lens of affective empathy.
Okay, what does that mean?
It's not a magic trick at all. It is the deliberate weaponization of your brain's mirror neurons.
Weaponization, that's a strong word.
Well, affective empathy is the mechanism that makes you physically flinch when you see someone else stub their toe. Your brain simulates their experience.
Oh, wow.
Right. So when an audience witnesses a character struggling or expressing vulnerability, The neural circuits for protection and empathy just light up automatically. Your heart rate might literally increase. Your cortisol might actually spike.
Wait, really? So the emotion I am feeling is 100% real, even if the stimulus causing it is completely simulated.
Exactly. The AI struggle is entirely scripted, but the connection it generates is a real biological empathy event for the user.
That is wild.
The creators are accurately modeling the audience's emotional landscape, so the audience's protective feelings are completely genuine.
Okay, but a beautifully crafted, highly vulnerable AI character means absolutely nothing if I just, swipe past them while I'm waiting in line for coffee.
Very true. You have to get them to stop first.
Right. We have to pivot from this high-level emotional design to the raw cognitive science of the feed itself. Because the article gets incredibly granular about the neuromarketing playbook.
It's basically a manual.
Yeah. So how do they actually capture human attention long enough to initiate all this empathy?
It is a ruthless battle for cognitive reflexes. The source is very clinical about this. You have an unbelievably narrow window, specifically the first 0.5 to 2 seconds of a short-form video.
Half a second to 2 seconds, that is nothing.
It's incredibly fast, and if you do not secure the brain's attention in that half second, no emotional bonding will ever take place.
And they aren't just guessing. They are exploiting evolutionary biology to stop the scroll. The text outlines some really specific tactics. First, movement before stillness.
Yes.
Then, sharp visual contrast and direct camera contact.
And we really have to look at why those specific things work.
Right, what's the biology there?
Our visual cortex evolved in an environment where sudden movement or sharp visual contrast usually meant one of two things: a predator or prey.
Fight or flight.
Exactly. Our eyes are biologically forced to track sudden movement. So when an AI video starts with a rapid motion or a jarring color contrast before settling, it triggers an involuntary orienting response in your brain.
You literally cannot look away.
You can't. Not until your brain assesses the visual information to see if you're in danger.
And once they have your primal attention, they use text hooks to create what the article calls a curiosity gap.
Which is brilliant.
It really is. They present a statement that feels incomplete. It introduces this subtle psychological tension, like an itch in your brain, that you just feel compelled to scratch by watching the rest of the video, just to resolve the gap.
It's highly effective.
But grabbing attention is cheap, right?
Yeah.
How do they actually convert that 2-second orienting response into long-term memory?
They transition from those primal triggers to spatial and narrative anchors. The text details how creators use consistent spatial positioning.
Give me an example.
Sure. So if the AI character does educational videos, they might always be sitting in the exact same spot in the same digital coffee shop with the lighting hitting them the exact same way every single time.
Why does the chair matter, though? Like, why the same spot?
Because of how human memory evolved. As hunter-gatherers, our survival depended on spatial memory.
Oh, like remembering where the food is.
Exactly. Remembering the exact location of a water source or, a dangerous cliff. Spatial memory is one of our deepest cognitive anchors.
That makes total sense.
Right. So by placing the AI in a consistent geographic digital space, it hacks our primitive geographic memory. It creates a comfortable, recognizable anchor.
Oh, wow.
And then you combine that spatial anchor with visual storytelling, framing every post with a clear beginning, complication, and resolution, and you leave a dense memory trace that facts alone could just never achieve.
It is so incredibly deliberate.
Mm-hmm.
And this deliberate pacing scales up to the entire account through what the text calls emotional rhythm.
Yes, the macro strategy.
Right. When I was reading this section, it instantly reminded me of a DJ managing a crowded dance floor at a club.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Think about it. If a DJ plays only high-energy, heavy bass tracks for 2 hours straight, the crowd just gets exhausted and leaves. Right?
Yeah, it's too much.
But if they only play slow, ambient tracks, the energy completely dies and people get bored. You have to pace the set.
That is a highly accurate analogy for content strategy here. The text argues that an AI account cannot survive by posting only educational, high-utility content.
Because it's too boring.
Well, it creates intellectual engagement, but it totally lacks emotional depth. The audience gets value, sure, but they don't actually care about the creator.
Right, it's just the ATM again.
Exactly. But conversely, if the account only posts deep, vulnerable, emotional content, it builds connection, but completely loses authority and utility. It just becomes exhausting to follow.
So the creator acts exactly like the DJ. They deliberately vary the emotional register.
Precisely.
Like Tuesday is a highly practical tutorial. Thursday is a vulnerable story about a personal failure, and then Saturday is just a lighthearted, visually stunning aesthetic post.
Right, you're mixing the tracks.
The audience keeps returning because they never feel like they've experienced the whole repertoire. They are just waiting for the next beat to drop.
And the data entirely supports this. Accounts that actively manage and vary their emotional rhythm show significantly stronger long-term retention.
It keeps it fresh.
It does. It keeps the parasocial relationship dynamic. It mimics the natural ebb and flow of a real biological human friendship.
Okay, so we've built a solid one-on-one bond between a user and an AI. But the source makes a massive pivot right here.
A very important pivot.
It argues that millions of individual, isolated followers staring at their phones is fine, but it isn't the end game. The ultimate algorithm-proof asset is actually community loyalty.
Yes.
So how do you take a million isolated parasocial bonds and, well, forge a cult?
You have to convert the relationship from a one-directional broadcast into a multi-directional web. And creators do this through interaction rituals and participation loops.
Okay, break those down for me.
An interaction ritual is a predictable shared event that the entire audience participates in simultaneously.
Like a weekly thing.
Exactly. For instance, the AI might host a weekly Confession Tuesday, where it asks the audience to anonymously submit a challenge they are facing, and then the AI responds to 3 of them. It synchronizes the audience's attention.
But the participation loops take it a step further.
Oh, much further.
Because that's where the audience actually gets to hold the steering wheel. The AI will present a genuine dilemma. Say, an AI fashion influencer is debating whether to accept a fictional job offer in Paris or stay with her friends in New York.
Right, a crossroads.
She asks the audience to vote. And then, and this is the critical mechanism to me, the creators actually render the next 6 months of the AI's life based entirely on that audience vote.
Exactly. It acknowledges the audience's agency.
Which feels so powerful.
It is. When a follower realizes that their input actively altered the narrative reality of the character they care about, their psychological investment just skyrockets. It fundamentally shifts the dynamic.
They become part of the story.
Yes. They are no longer passively consuming a digital show. They are actively co-authoring a digital life.
And to really cement that, they give the community a shared identity. They name them.
Naming is crucial.
The text uses examples like calling the audience the builders or the quiet ones. They develop an internal language, inside jokes, and references to past narrative arcs that reward the long-term followers and intentionally confuse newcomers.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what we are observing is the creation of a self-sustaining ecosystem.
How so?
The shared narrative identity means that eventually the individual audience members aren't just logging on to see what the AI character does next, they're staying for each other.
Oh, wow.
They're logging on to talk to the other builders down in the comment section. The AI simply becomes the campfire that the real human community gathers around.
That is a beautiful way to look at it. But so what does this all mean when the fire actually goes out?
Well, things can definitely go wrong.
Because managing a fake persona in a real community sounds like a massive tightrope walk. The article dives into the feedback loop next. How do these creators, sitting in the dark behind their monitors, actually know if their psychological engineering is working?
Right.
And more importantly, what breaks the illusion?
Well, first, they measure success by looking entirely past vanity metrics like follower counts or total views.
Because those are easily faked.
Or just superficial. Instead, they use a system of data-driven sentiment tracking. They're looking for behavioral proof of actual emotional investment.
Like what?
For example, they heavily track the save rate.
Okay, why saves?
If a user saves a post, it indicates that the narrative felt so personally relevant that the user wanted to preserve it for their own identity.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They also track comment depth, which, makes total sense.
It's a huge indicator.
Right, if I just drop a fire emoji on a post, that is purely transactional. But if a creator's post triggers me to write a 3-paragraph comment about my own struggles with anxiety.
Then the effective empathy worked.
Exactly. That proves the connection is real.
And they conduct what the text calls a monthly sentiment check. The creators isolate the top 3 highest comment rate posts of the entire month and perform a linguistic analysis on the audience's responses.
What are they looking for?
Well, if they see the community shifting away from that deep, vulnerable sharing and reverting back to just generic emojis, it is a glaring warning sign.
Like the vibe has shifted.
Exactly. It means the emotional rhythm has become stale. The audience is bored, and the creators need to inject a new narrative complication before the engagement actually drops off a cliff.
But even with all that data, creators still mess up, right? The text explicitly outlines the authenticity killers.
They absolutely do.
And the biggest one is the trap of over-automation. I mean, it is so tempting for a creator to just hook the AI up to a language model, automate the posting schedule, and go to the beach.
But the audience always senses it.
They always do.
Yeah, if the captions start using identical, predictable templates, or if there are no messy, real-time reactions to current events, the audience experiences a subconscious authenticity deficit.
They might not know why it feels off, but it feels off.
Right. They might not immediately articulate that the account is fully automated, but that neural familiarity pattern we talked about degrades.
So you have to stay hands-on.
The text strongly advises maintaining manual engagement, having real humans reply to comments within a 2-hour window, and intentionally breaking those scheduled templates to simulate spontaneity.
The other massive killer is the silent reboot.
Oh, yes! This is a big one.
You cannot treat an AI influencer like a static corporate logo where you just like update the font and hope nobody asks questions.
Yeah, no, you definitely can.
If an AI character suddenly changes its aesthetic or its personality or its core values without any in-story explanation, you create massive cognitive dissonance. You literally shatter the narrative coherence, which, as we established, is the only authenticity they even have.
This raises such an important question for creators. You have to treat the AI with the exact same narrative respect as a television showrunner treats their lead character.
Right.
If they are going to change, the audience needs a transition. The AI needs to post a reflection saying, I've been reevaluating my life lately, and I've decided to make a change.
Give them the story arc.
Exactly. If you break the coherence, you break the trust. And once psychological loyalty is broken, it almost immediately reverts to transactional engagement.
Which is just brutal. Man, this has been such an incredible mind-bending journey to pull all these threads together for you listening. We've learned that digital loyalty today isn't tethered to biological reality at all.
Not even a little bit.
Your brain doesn't care if there's a pulse on the other end. Deep bonds are built on consistent presence, the precise weaponization of scripted vulnerability, managing the emotional rhythm of the feed so the audience never gets exhausted, and ultimately turning passive scrollers into a named, actively participating community.
And we really challenge you, the listener, to look at your own digital habits a bit differently today.
Seriously, do it.
The next time you find yourself stopping your scroll, completely captivated by a creator, whether they're biological or artificial, take a moment to ask yourself, what is really happening there?
What are you actually responding to?
Right. Are you just exchanging your time for the transactional value of a quick tip? Or have you been carefully caught in an engineered parasocial loop? Have your mirror neurons been deliberately activated?
It really makes you evaluate the psychology of your own feed. Like, who is holding your attention and exactly what mechanisms are they using to keep it?
It's a powerful question to ask.
It is. And before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final, deeply provocative trend mentioned at the very end of the source material.
Oh, the hybrid stuff.
Yeah. The article discusses the looming future of hybrid AI-human collaboration. As AI generation becomes flawlessly photorealistic and narratively perfect, human creators will increasingly be hired simply as authenticity proxies.
Which is wild to think about.
It's crazy. Meaning a verified biological human will just show up in the AI's content occasionally, purely to validate the AI's emotional reality for the audience.
It is a complete inversion of the dynamic we've lived with for the past decade.
It totally is. Which leaves us with this final thought to ponder. As artificial influencers become narratively flawless, perfectly consistent, and algorithmically calibrated to our exact emotional needs, well, will human creators eventually be seen not as the main event, but merely as messy, unpredictable sidekicks, brought in simply to validate our preferred, customized digital friends?
It's a brave new world.
It really is. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the psychology of the information around you. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you for listening to AI Creator World Podcast. If you found this episode valuable, make sure to follow the podcast, subscribe on YouTube, and share this episode with another creator who is building their future online.
For deeper guides, AI tools, and step-by-step growth strategies, visit our website at aicreatorworld.net.
And remember, in the age of artificial intelligence, creators who learn faster will lead the future. See you in the next episode. Bye!